What's up everyone? Welcome to another 10-man raid video. Today we're gonna be looking at Imperial Vizier Zor'lok in Art of Fear for the 10-man heroic version. And boy oh boy, this one is a doozy one. The fight itself is not exactly hard, but you're gonna get frustrated at some point because the hard part that you want to progress is the last phase, and you're gonna die or lose people very often for various reasons before you get to that phase, so it might be a bit harder to get there. Anyway, let's get into it. First, to explain the fight and how everything works, you get to the room and you're gonna have 3 platforms in the mid zone. For the sake of explanation, we're gonna call it platform A, B, C, and the mid zone we're gonna call it mid. Every time the boss will be in one of those platforms, you're gonna have an extra ability besides his 2 main abilities, which are Inhale and Exhale, that will stay with him for all the fight. So you're gonna go to the A, you're gonna get a new ability, change to the B, that extra ability change. On the C, that extra ability is another one, and when he goes to the mid, you're gonna make all of it. So basically, the boss will start on the A, you're gonna have Inhale and Exhale, and the platform ability is Force and Verb. At 80%, you're gonna move to platform B and leave an Echo on platform A. Platform A Echo will keep casting the platform ability, which is the Force and Verb. On the platform B, instead of Force and Verb, you're gonna now start casting Attenuation, which is the famous balls. At 60%, you're gonna leave from platform B to platform C and leave a Echo behind. The Echo will still keep casting the Attenuation skill. On the platform C, you're gonna still cast Inhale and Exhale like in all the other platforms, and the extra ability will now be Convert, which is essentially a mind control. It will mind control 2 people. At 40%, he transitions to the final phase, which is in the middle, and on the C platform, he doesn't leave any Echo behind. When he gets to the middle, you're gonna inhale the pheromones that are there till now, you're gonna get stronger, you're gonna cast all the abilities that he had till now, and at some point you're gonna also make an Echo in the middle of the platform that's gonna cast Attenuation. If at any point there is no one near the boss or the Echo, you will start casting Song of the Empress, that basically will deal the damage to all the raid. So you always need to keep someone next to it. So abilities on platform A, you're gonna have Inhale, which basically from time to time he casts a buff on himself that will stack and increase the damage of the next Exhale. He gonna cast Exhale, basically he targets a player and throws a beam on that player that stuns him and deals high physical damage. Have a tank going into the beam to soak it, or you can use End of Protection as physical damage, so End of Protection also works. And the platform A main ability is Force and Verb. You're gonna start casting pulsating damage around him that deals damage on everyone in the raid. To help with this, he also gonna use noise cancelling, which is basically those yellow shields. And if you are inside of those shields, you take reduced damage from all his physical abilities, like the Force and Verb and the Attenuation, the yellow balls. The shields have a limit of players to be in there, so try to split your group. You're gonna have enough shields for everyone. You can have 3 people per shield. If you have more than 3 people, someone not gonna get the effect and are gonna take full damage. For the platform B, the abilities are still Inhale and Exhale, and the extra ability gonna be Attenuation. He basically, from the center of the boss, gonna cast a spiral of sonic waves, yellow and green ones. And this is one of the problems. Not only because for some people it's hard to dodge, but because also the balls are not always with the same speed. Sometimes they are faster, sometimes they are slower, sometimes it feels like they are slow and then speed up. So there'll be a certain amount of damage going out in here. So it's basically for 10 men, unless you have a lot of combat races, is a dodge or wipe situation, because if you lose 1-2 players on this phase, it gets tougher. For platform C, abilities are still Inhale and Exhale, and then the extra ability is Convert. It's basically a mind control. You're gonna choose 2 targets, mind control them, and you need to damage them till 50% HP to break the mind control. Avoid using debuffs on those targets, especially if your raid is melee heavy, and if you're a tank, avoid using your skills that put the weaken blows on them, because then it's gonna stay with them and gonna reduce the damage they deal after the mind control is broken. For abilities in the middle, when he passes to the middle, he gonna inhale all the pheromones that were in the middle till now, all of that gas that was dealing damage and silencing you when you were in it is now gone, and he gonna increase his damage and his haste. Meanwhile, while in the middle, he gonna use all the abilities that he used till now, and usually after Force and Verb, he gonna create his Echo, and this mid-phase Echo will cast only the attenuation skill. For strats, let's split them on platforms and platform change phases. From A to B. On A, you want to have your people around. Just make sure that you don't have more than 3 people per shield, but it's essentially just like DPS the boss, hide on the shields from Force and Verb, and be careful with the amount of people you put in there. Whenever he gets to 80% HP, the boss is gonna pass to the B platform and leave the Echo on the A platform. On this moment, you want to move your, not essentially the stronger, but the tank that can sustain the best, and your most mobile healer to the platform B to keep the boss. You need to keep someone always there to avoid Song of the Emperors being cast. And because you only have one tank and one healer there, and because there'll be attenuation going on, and because you're still gonna get damage from Force and Verb, you want to have a tank that can survive through all of that, even if the healer is in trouble, and you want a healer that will be able to dodge everything while still being able to heal. And after the Echo on A is ready, everyone move to platform B to keep dealing with the boss. Be careful on the transition, because while you are passing through the middle, there will still be balls from the last attenuation going on. And sometimes in the middle of the pheromone gas, they are hard to see, and you might happen to get popped by one of those balls. On strats from B to C, you have all your raid on B. At 60%, the boss gonna transition and gonna go to C and leave the Echo on a B. To begin with the B platform, you need to DPS the boss while dodge the balls. And for some reason, there are some spots I marked there with a square where it feels like it's easier to start the dodge process if you follow the direction that the spiral comes out. So maybe try it, maybe it will help. And when the boss hits 60% and moves to platform C, we send a tank and a healer with the boss to platform C to avoid the Song of the Emperors, but we need to pay attention that at some point that boss gonna cast mind control. That mind control gonna be on 2 people. If there's only 2 people there, it means those 2 people gonna get mind control, which then means there will be no enemies in range of the boss, which will pop the boss to cast Song of the Emperors. So what we do is, we send the tank and the healer to the boss, we keep DPS in the Echo, and after the first round of attenuation from the Echo, we send 2 more DPS to the boss on C. This way, there'll be, when the mind control comes out, there'll be more people there, and we DPS a bit more on the Echo on platform B, so it dies faster, and then we can all move to platform C. Whenever the Echo is dead, everyone moves to platform C. Be careful, because again, there might still be some balls moving on, and don't rush into them. Just let them go, and make sure you don't kill yourself on the balls in the gas. When you get to platform C, you just, if possible, have especially your range stacked behind the tank. So for one, it's easier to deal with Exhale, because if everyone is already stacked behind the tank is already absorbing the Exhale, and it's also easier to deal with the Mind Control, because that way people is already stacked. At 40%, boss will transition to the final phase in the mid. He's gonna soak up all the pheromones, so now the mid is safe. There's already no gas silencing you and dealing damage on you. And this was the phase that for us worked best to use Lust, because while he's transitioning, people can still deal damage on him. He's in the air, he then gonna land slowly. Sometimes he lands and he still stays for a couple of seconds thinking very well what to do. So we just Lust on this phase, give everything we can. He will cast in his phase Attenuation and then Force and Verb. So he stays like stop on the same place for a good amount of time for us to use our Lust and our cooldowns properly and take good advantage of it. After Force and Verb, he's gonna spawn an Echo. So what we do on this situation is, as soon as he stops casting Force and Verb, one of the tanks taunts him to one corner of the room. And after the Echo spawns, the other tank taunts the boss to the opposite corner of the room. That basically, the idea is to have Echo in one side and the boss on the other. So whenever the balls from the attenuation from the Echo gets to us on the boss, they already come spread enough to be easier to dodge them. But remember, you always need to leave, in our case, the tank and the other healer on the Echo to avoid the Song of the Emperors being casted. On this phase is literally, you have to survive. Just focus on surviving. Survive first, deal damage later, and you're gonna be able to do this fight. For the tanks, Force and Verb at the beginning. If you are healthy, you cannot hide on the shield and get some vengeance from it. So if you are not in danger, just make sure you are still close from the shield, so if something gets troublesome, you just pop in the shield and you are safe. But you can use it to get a couple extra vengeance right from the start. If you are the tank moving to platform B, the Force and Verb will still hit you in there, and you will not be able to go to the shields because the shields are out of melee range of the boss. And if you go to the shields, there will be no one on the boss to avoid the Song of the Emperor's cast. So this is a good time for you to use your shield walls skill, so that damage from Force and Verb, it's not, it won't kill you, basically. Also, make sure that either you or your co-tank are soaking the exhales. It's okay damage on us, it's deadly on most of the other people, and of course for us it gives vengeance, so it's always good. If you stay close from inside of the boss, it's easier, you're almost always gonna get it. So try to work out with it. At least if you are not the tank actively tanking, stay more inside of the boss, so you can get that exhale on you. Also be careful on pull and on the transitions from echoes to mid landings. Sometimes the boss, just for some reason, he goes nuts and he wants to slap someone else. So have your taunt ready. On that last second before he is sitting or he transitioning, you just pop a taunt on it, just to be safe. And while the boss is casting something else, he won't cast Song of the Emperors. So on these moments, you are free to go further from the boss. Like if you have to dodge the balls, if there is some, if Force and Verb is doing too much damage, you can hide on the shield for a bit. Just have it in mind. And now we're gonna look at the video to see how we did it. This is our second kill. Our first kill was a bit messier, so we're gonna use the second one as an example. We stay on the pool, we're gonna pull it to platform A. And in here, you just deal damage, pump. Whenever Force and Verb come, you just hide on the shields. Remember to split your people accordingly. You can only have 3 people per shield. But this phase is kinda Easy. There's not much going on. We're gonna have Force and Verb now. There's the yellow shields. And here I went in the shield because I was off HP and for some reason my shaman was panicking a bit, so I thought we were in trouble and I just went in. I could have stayed outside and get some vengeance from it. 80% transition. We rushed to the other platform. Careful with the silence and the damage from the gas in the middle. And we just keep going. There's me and there's my Disc Priest with me. And now we are just holding the boss here for it to not cast Song of the Empress, while the rest of the raid is on the platform A, still finishing with the Echo. And you see there's the shield, there's Force and Verb going on, but I can't be in the shield, so I need to pop my Fortifying Brew to survive that. Just dodge the balls, get used to this. You're gonna lose a lot of people on these transitions, on this phase. And this is also the hard part, because people are coming through the middle, there's balls going all over the place. Sometimes you pop on the Warlock portal and there's a couple of greens still in there. Also, there's another important thing. If you have to get hit by a ball, get hit by the yellow ones. If the decision is between green and yellow, get hit by the yellow because they deal way less damage than the green ones. And I'll just keep going. The boss will transition on 60%. Now attenuation to the right. As you see, if they come on normal speed, it's not so complicated. You just follow that spiral line, the gap. We keep going. 60% are gonna have an Echo. So there was the Exhale there. Echo coming out. Boss is going to the C. Echo stays on the B. Other tank and one of the healers goes to the boss. And we stay on the Echo to finish it. We're gonna see here also the transition. The attenuation is gonna come out. We're gonna make the attenuation, and Convert is about to come out. So at this point, 2 of our DPS are already going to the other platform to avoid getting mind control on the tank and the healer. The problem with this is if you do it too late, and the Convert comes up, it might mind control one of the people that are still going on the pheromone gas, and they stay there. And they'll take damage, and then they might get exhaled, and they stay there and taking more damage. So we need to find that perfect timing to send the extra DPS in there. You can even just send them right away. When the tanks go, you can send right away with them DPS, just to avoid these problems with the transition. For us, we figured out that we had some window there, so we just decided to push the Echo faster. The mind control will come. People should be a bit more stacked, but... Yeah, Warlock just went to rest the warrior. And I think he's gonna get stunned in the middle of the... Okay, no. I thought the Exhale would come in the middle of him while he is in the middle of gas. So we kept going, break mind controls, back to the boss. This part also shouldn't be a problem. The main problem is the platform B, with the attenuation and then the final. And the transitions. Transitions might create some chaos sometimes. And you see my co-tank is in the middle of the boss, so when the exhales come out, he almost right away gets them. So we don't have much problems dealing with it. Mind control again. On this phase, try to use your crowd control abilities before the mind controls, just so you don't stun your full raid when you're a mind control. Now we have transitioned to the middle at 40%. C platform, there's no echoes. We just all go to the middle. Boss is about to sit. We pop Lust, we pop everything. And we go. You see there's still like a long time where the boss just sits there not doing anything. This is a perfect time for the cooldowns to come. Gonna have attenuation now. Eventually. Okay, it's a dodge right. On this moment, you need to survive, basically. If you survive, you're gonna kill the boss, because there's not much... it's not very complicated. Now my tank starts pushing the boss to one of the corners. And he's casting Force and Verb. And after the Force and Verb is off, he's gonna summon his echo, and then I gonna tank him to the opposite side, so they stay separated, and try to give it a second to see where exactly the echo is spawning, so you can move the boss to the most opposite side comparing to the echo. Here I took too long to react to the exile and we lost our shaman. Now we have attenuation from the boss, and right after we're gonna have attenuation from the echo. This is the chaotic part, because the room will be filled with balls, and it's the reason why we try to keep them apart, because if they are together, you would now have the full room going on with 2 waves of those balls, and it gets almost impossible to not die on that. When the shields come up, you can use them to protect you from the yellow balls. They also reduce the damage. And that's basically it. If you manage to work well with the placement of the boss, and people manage to survive, it becomes way easier to deal with the boss. And that was Zor'lok on 10-man heroic, and it took us long hours to finish that, so hope you are faster than us, and good luck on that loot, and good luck on your raids, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.